We will go ahead and call the meeting to order. We are reconvening. We are reconvening the September 19th meeting. Good afternoon, everyone. We are reconvening the September 19th meeting today on September 25th. We'll go ahead and start call to order. Roll call. Ms. Arlene Perez is running 5 minutes late. Mr. John Contreras.
Present.
Dr. Marino.
Present.
Mr. Hector Lafarga.
Present.
Esther Mejia present. Dr. Villegas will go ahead and go on to item number 2, public comments on closed session items. Do we have any comments?
There are no comments for closed session.
Thank you. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn to closed session. We will reconvene an open session at 6:31. I'll start off by reading the mission statement. Students will be challenged to become college and career ready and lifelong learners. The El Rancho Unified School District will actively partner with the community as its leading educational institution that provides a technology-rich and innovative learning environment for all students. Just want to welcome everyone for being here today, and I want to wish everyone a happy Hispanic Latino Heritage Month. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with the 5A roll call. Members of the Administrative Cabinet, Dr. Marco Villegas.
Present. And so I'd like to call Dora Soto Delgado,
Present.
Dean Cochran,
Present.
Jasmine Chavez Diaz, Isela Castañon, Dr. Virginia Kelson,
Present.
Chukanda Padilla.
Thank you, Dr. Villegas. I just want to remind everyone that we do have an interpreter here today. You could raise your hand. Where is she at? She's not here today. Dr. Villegas, our interpreter? Maybe she's. Okay, so apologies. We will make sure that we have our interpreter at the next meeting. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and go to item 5B, Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone can please stand. Right hand over your heart, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, we'll go ahead and go on to items 6A, adoption of the agenda. Dr. Villegas, are there any revisions to the agenda?
We have a couple. We're going to go ahead and pull item 16D3 for today. And
Thank you. I would also like to insert a name when we get to item 16E3 2A.
Thank you. I also have a revision. I would like to move up item 17A1, library card sign up resolution, immediately after item 7. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. LaFarga, seconded by Mr. Contreras. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we'll go ahead and go on to item number 7, report of actions taken in closed session. Dr. Villegas,
we have no actions report closed session.
thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and go on to item number 17A1. And prior to that, I'd like to know if there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item as a public comment. Hearing none, I'll go ahead and request that Ms. Lauren Talbot, if she can come up. We have a special guest from the LA County Library, our very own Ms. Lauren Talbot.
Thank you. Okay. Whereas libraries play a crucial role in the education and development of children, from story times for preschoolers to college and career planning for high schoolers, fostering literacy and a love of reading. And whereas libraries are welcoming, inclusive spaces for people of all backgrounds to learn together and engage with one another across cultural, ethnic, generational, and economic lines, strengthening the social fabric of the communities they serve. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas libraries help people of all ages navigate the complexities of life, providing access to research, information, government services that allow everyone to lead more productive and fulfilling lives. And whereas libraries contribute to a strong local economy by providing access to the technology and training that are critical to the success of job seekers, entrepreneurs, and students. And whereas in times of crisis, libraries and library professionals play an invaluable role in supporting their communities, both in person and virtually. And whereas the shared resources libraries offer reduce the number of items households buy and dispose of by providing a simple way to save money, conserve resources, and reduce waste. And whereas a library card sparks creativity and empowers all people to explore new passions and interests and pursue a path of lifelong learning. And whereas libraries are a cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education hereby proclaim the month of September as Library Card Sign-Up Month and encourage everyone to sign up for their own library card today. Adopted by the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education in Pico Rivera, California, by resolution number 10-2023/2024 on this 19th day of September 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Talbot. Is there a motion to approve the resolution? Okay, moved by trustee Contreras, seconded by Dr. Marino. Is there any discussion? Ms. Perez?
Thank you for reading that. Just one quick thing. I love the library card because not only does it give you access to libraries, but as well, LA County, you can have access to online educational. You can also watch videos. You can watch movies. There's so many perks to a library card. So I highly, highly recommend it. That's all.
Anyone else? Shane? Oh, go ahead.
I just would like to say thank you to Mrs. Tolbert for everything that she does at the library center. I appreciate the hard work that you do. I see you at the city council meetings as well. And all your work it's very much appreciated. So thank you.
Likewise, I'd like to say thank you, Ms. Talbot, and just a couple of other items or things that you are able to borrow are tools. You can borrow tools from the library, and they also have diapers available as well. And at one time, I think they had even COVID tests. Thank you, Ms. Talbot. Okay, so we'll go ahead and call a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you again, Ms. Talbot. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 8, student reports. ASB President, El Rancho High School, Kelly Garcia.
Good evening, everyone. I am Madison Morales, El Rancho High School's ASB Vice President. On behalf of ASB, I wanted to report a successful homecoming week. On Monday, September 18th, ASB started the week by decorating the school in their class themes. The freshmen were Candyland freshmen, the sophomores were the Way of the Water sophomores, the juniors were Jurassic juniors, and the seniors were Spider-Man seniors. On Tuesday, September 19th, ASB had their annual Blueprint runway where all classes had a student dress up in all blue in order to show school spirit. Class advisors and class representatives answered questions and had a runway to help their class win class points for the night pep rally. On Wednesday, September 20th, ASB hosted a Hoko Food Fest during lunch where clubs and sports organizations had the opportunity to raise money. The food fest was open to all students and staff. On Thursday, September 21st, ASB hosted our 40th annual night pep rally in the main gym. All 4 classes decorated the gym, played games, and showcased their class skit for their entire student body. We also had performances by our very own band and color guard, cheer, and song. The Jurassic Juniors took first place at the night pep rally. On Friday, September 22nd, ASB revealed the homecoming court during lunch. During our assembly, we revealed the prince and princesses for 9th, 10th, and 11th grade and top 3 for 12th grade. At the homecoming football game, many alumni, staff, and students came to watch as our Dons played against West Covina at Whittier College. During halftime, we had our final reveal. Last year's king and queen came back to crown this year's king and queen. On Saturday, September 23rd, the homecoming dance was held at the Doubletree Hotel in Uptown Whittier. Our Dons had an amazing night and an eventful homecoming 2023. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Madison, and we'd be happy to have you for the rest of the meeting, but if you need to go to do homework, please feel free to do so. And I just want to announce, we do have our interpreter here, Ms. Maria Hernandez is in the back. Si alguien necesita traducción, está disponible. Okay. So item 8B, our ASB spokesperson for Salazar High School, Ms. Ashley Ceballos is not here today. She sent regrets, but we look forward to seeing her at the next meeting. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item 9, Labor Association reports. Is there an association report today for ERFT? Thank you, Ms. Carrion.
Before I get started, I just wanted the ASB president who just left. Our class was the first class that had the night pep rally. So imagine it's been 40 years. So when she was speaking, it kind of took me back to Rancho, and what a great time. It was the first event. Remember, some of you who are around, they used to have the floats, remember? And they got rid of the floats because it was too much. So they needed another night activity. And it was the night pep rally. The other one, Mrs. Tabbitt, I want to tell you that Pico Rivera changed the Carry-Ons lives. We would go, our parents would take us to the library. That's how I met Dorothy Martinez. She retired ages ago, Miss Anderson. Actually, and also Linda Martinez used to work in the library. I met her when I was in my team, in my 10. And I was very young. I don't know what happened, but I was very young. But I just have to tell you that the head librarian at the time, Dorothy Martinez, really took an interest in kids. And you know that Mrs. Martinez, the head librarian from Pico Rivera, took my brother and I to our first musical, which was Peter Pan at the Pantages. And so I have such fond memories of that establishment, or it was in a circle. It's so nice that they finally gave it a modern twang to it. But I can't tell you how important that facility has been to the residents of Pico Rivera. And thank you for continuing the legacy of how important libraries are, which takes me to what the event that we had on September 16th, where we had Reading Opens the World. I want to take just a moment to acknowledge the individuals who helped put this event together. So bear with me. I know if I'm going to feel like it's the Oscars tonight and they read off all the people in their lives, I'm going to do that because I feel that people need to know who participated to make it another successful event. AFT has fallen in love with Pico Rivera. They notice every time they come to our district and our community, they see the camaraderie of the district personnel, city members, teachers, staff, our unions, ARASA, along with CSEA, and our many volunteers. So I just need to thank Dr. Villegas for having the staff work with us. Mrs. Mejia, who came that morning and she was lifting tables for us. I had to tell her to stop because I don't want you to get hurt. We have young people to help with the tables. AFT staff, Juan Ramirez, Cesar Romero, Rafael Mortoja, and Leslie Getzinger. Belinda Larache helped us with our science, Tony with tech. Dr. Kimes, thank you for opening your school to us. Dora, who was with us in the early mornings, trying to give out food to the kids and greeting our parents. Gio, the custodial staff was fabulous. That was Angel and Eric. Joey delivered the books and the supplies that we needed. We had several teachers who helped us. We had a retiree who came out of retirement, Carrie Weaver, Jen Castagna, CFT staff, Jeff Freitas, Paulina Vega, Christina Dela Cruz, Paul Lugo, Shirley Lugo's family, by the way, helped us. Carlos Flores, Jacqueline Hadigi Alvarez, the Rancho students and staff. We had some parents, Rosalia Lovano, Robert Perez, Lulu from CSA helped us, Maria Macias, a parent. We also partnership with the Labor Council of Latin America Advancement. They brought their students to encourage them to participate in the community, and they were extremely helpful. It was nice to see that our students partnership with other students that were coming from LA. And I hope I didn't leave anyone off the list, but thank you so much. We heard from our parents that they want this event to continue. Maybe we need to talk with the district to see if this is something that we can move forward. The parents said, when are you going to come to our part of our town? You know, you've gone over here on the north end, when you could go to the south end, when you go to the middle of the city, and maybe that's something we need to maybe plan. We had 500 books. We gave out 150 backpacks, which was manageable, and maybe that's something we can push. Leslie did a phenomenal job of picking bilingual and cultural books, and it all was in celebration of Hispanic Month. So again, thank you so much for being so accommodating and working with us on this project. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about some things that ERT has been very frustrated about. So I'm transitioning. I know our district is working with several new leaders. However, what we're facing right now in this district is two issues: communication with staff and follow through on what these individuals need to do. And I'll give you some examples. Communicating with members when we were making the change of school sites. We had teachers who had to move up school sites. We had to collapse classes. We had to move kids around. We had to tell parents that their classes were going to be collapsed. And it was a very traumatic experience for everyone involved. The staffs who lost members, kids who lost their teachers that they started with. We really need to do a better job of doing when we're collapsing classes. We need to look at numbers. I did speak to the SOUP and to cabinet a few weeks ago that when you're looking at the numbers, you could see a little bit of a pattern. You need to educate our employees. You need to tell them that the numbers are declining. Be ready. We might have to collapse classes. We might have to move teachers around. That makes the blow a little bit easier to take. It's still a horrible situation for everyone involved, but we need to communicate with our members. You need to communicate with the employees of what's going on financially. It will minimize the trauma that we went through for the month of August. The other items that ERT has been waiting for is COVID MOUs. One MOU we brought forth to the district in January. We're still waiting to have a final MOU for last school year. I knew I threw a little bit of wrench, but I did propose that we can have at least 5 days of COVID sick days for this coming year, because I've noticed, because the district sends me notifications of teachers or staff going on sick days. The problem is that some individuals used days last year, so they're already coming in with a deficit. They're losing another 5 days. That means they're already using half of their sick days, and we're only in August. So we're hoping that the district will consider. We did do some research, and the district has the opportunity to be able to give additional sick days. I know the SOUP said that he was going to talk to Ms. Padilla to figure out the cost, but we're hoping that the district can look into that in order to keep our members safe. So make that a priority. Another a tentative agreement that ERT was waiting for and has been waiting for has been changing the end time for the teachers at the secondary level, which is El Rancho High School in Salazar. We started the discussion to make it a contract language in May. I waited. I emailed HR, I emailed the SOUP to see where we were. We wanted to have that resolved before school started. And so when I spoke to the superintendent on Wednesday, I told him how frustrated ERT is. And it was really interesting that after our discussion on Wednesday, he was able to take care of that in 24 hours. Thank you for handling that. But why did I have to say to you that I was going to address the board on the fact that we've been waiting for these documents? That's our problem. Communicate and follow through. The other item was the financial bonus that that the district offered to ERFT. Again, we talked about that, I believe, probably in May. Again, when I spoke to the soup on Wednesday, he was able to put it together and give it to me Thursday. Again, why do we have to go to this point where I have to go to the board or bring my teachers? As you well know, ERT works collaboratively with everyone on the board and with staff. But for me to bring and ask our members to come tells you our level of frustration. And I did share with the soup that when I had a union meeting on Tuesday, they were asking about the bonus and they were asking about COVID. And I have to tell you that I was embarrassed as a leader of ERT to tell them we're still waiting. We've been waiting for documents that we asked for in January. The soup said that he's going to be working with the staff to make sure that that gets taken care of, which means I have to follow through. But that is not acceptable for this district. It's not acceptable for the students, and especially not acceptable for the staff to be waiting for documents that they've had for several months. Personally, it makes my job a lot harder because I have to be bugging for items. I email, I call and so forth, and that needs to stop. Because you're going to be seeing our members coming to every meeting until we see the appropriate behavior of the district of making sure that they keep kids safe, employees safe, that the needs of our students are taken care of, that employees are told in a timely manner of what they need. We constantly have to wait. As long as this is my 35th year, and ERT has had a strong history of collaborating with the different offices. I like that to continue. In all fairness, I have spoken to Dr. Villegas, and I've talked to Ms. Padilla and Dr. Kelson. In fact, she and I had a discussion of what ERT needs, what we have to do to make sure that business runs smoothly. I also need to acknowledge our poor administrators because they've been caught in the crossfire of where they're waiting to hear if they're getting a teacher over there, if they're collapsing a class. They're impacted, right? Because they're the buffer between the district, the buffer with the school site, and with their staff. And that was pretty hard for them. They were in the same boat. We were all in the same boat where we go, we're waiting. We're waiting for a decision. Do you know what horrible position you put your admin? And they've been very professional of saying we're waiting for the district to tell us what we need to do. CSCA is in the same boat. And I hope I'm not talking for you guys, but I just want to acknowledge that all three unions are having difficulties of trying to get things done. Now, I have to say that within 2 days, I saw the superintendent take ownership of the district and to move these forward. And that's what we're expecting from you. Be a leader. This district, this community needs a leader. It needs its people that work under him to be leaders. After AFT came and spoke to us, he said, this is a phenomenal community and what they do, which means this community deserves the best from the superintendent and from his staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carrion. Ms. Serrano.
Good evening, board, cabinet, people here, teachers, classified, and those online. I agree with everything that Ms. Carrion said. It is, we're here, classified is right now wearing red as well, because we do need our teachers. If we don't have teachers, classified doesn't have a job. That's the reality. What does that mean? That means we don't have safe schools for our kids. We need information. I have had the luxury of meeting some of our new members, our administrators, our directors. And I plan to do that more often. I still have to work during the day. I wish I had Lil's job where I can just go every day knocking on your doors, because I would. But I don't have that. My phone calls are during my breaks, are during my lunches. And then with my membership, it's after 4 o'clock. So if I send out emails for information, I don't expect it that day because I'm too busy that day. But I do expect it. And it's disheartening when I don't see that from certain people. But when I do get it, I appreciate it. So I'm here to support classified. And like we do in our classrooms, to support our teachers. And most importantly, to support our administrations. Thank you.
Toronto. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to public comments, items on the agenda. Move comment cards. Dr. Villegas, do we have any?
We do have one, is it Ms. Christina Saavedra? Only blue.
There's no timer, right? All right, I'll put my on. All right. I know we're not supposed to direct our comments specifically to anyone, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to direct it to Dr. Villegas, because I feel like most of the board has kids or, been with the district for so long that you understand the urgency of what is going on. We have had so many events in the past, just this past month. How long have we been in school, right? And all these great things that are happening, the back to school nights, the kids that are out doing races. You have the STEAM kids that did races back to back, the cross country, all these kids that are out doing great things, practicing for what's to come, the decathletes, everybody. All of this happens because of the teachers that give up their time, that give up their energy, all of the people that help out. I want to give a shout out to Crystal at Bernie, because we just had movie night. There was about 250, I'm guessing, if I had to guesstimate, people there. And she was like really the driving force behind that event, and thank you to Miss Principal Gallegos for obviously for hosting it and also pushing everybody. Parents had a wonderful time, and parents have wonderful times, and we look forward to all these events. Don't make their jobs any harder than you need to. Whatever they need, give it to them. I don't know if you've ever seen the Target commercial. It's like a comedian, and she's like, whatever that teacher needs, I'll get it. You need a rug, teacher? I'll get it. That's what we should be doing, really, because they're the ones that at the end of the day, they're with our students all day. So I just ask you, there's a lot of good things. I love the podcast, by the way. Shout out to you guys. But please, we need to focus on first things first, because none of these great things would be getting done without their help or support. Also, we did start a PTO at El Rancho. I'll go ahead and throw that out there. I know I would come up here and talk about it all the time. We finally did it, guys. So thank you to the admins and all the support team over there. You can look us up on Instagram at ERHSPTO. And just thank you. And just don't forget what we need to focus on. And I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Saavedra. At this time, we'll go ahead and go on to public comments, items not on the agenda, yellow comment cards, Dr. Villegas.
We have several here. We'll start with Margaret Martinez Engel.
Good evening, everyone. Margaret Martinez Engel, past president of the El Rancho Federation of Teachers and currently a first grade teacher at Rio Vista Elementary. In the superintendent's message published in the ERUSD September 2023 newsletter, our superintendent commented on the great opening to this school year and how our classrooms were buzzing with energy and the students were fully engaged in their learning experiences. Over the summer, teachers that needed to change grade levels or classrooms had done so. Then the unthinkable happened. After decorating classrooms and getting to know our students, we were told, quite as a matter of factly, that select school sites would be losing a teacher. Classrooms would have to be collapsed. Children would have to be stuffed into remaining classrooms. It was the numbers. Really, you weren't aware of the probable numbers before school began? Instead, you wait to make the announcement after teachers and students were settled. Just move those teachers. Just move those kids. No matter the special needs that many of those students have, we've just got to move them. In the newsletter, our superintendent encourages each and every one of us to keep the positive energy flowing. It's hard to do when staff and students are being treated like cattle. The newsletter further states that the district is dedicated to our students and are committed to creating the best possible learning environments. Yeah, right. We are disheartened with the apparent mismanagement that has caused so much unneeded distress. What more can I say? We will continue to keep an eye on this district's so-called leadership and on the elected officials who place them in these positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez Engel.
And so next we have Lauren Talbot. Oh. And next we have Leticia Vasquez. Leticia Vasquez Wilson.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. My name is Leticia Vasquez Wilson. I'm a card-holding member of UTLA. Hey. So I commend the teachers in this district. But I'm also an elected official at the Central Basin Municipal Water District. And I have come before your board during COVID, and I wanted to come personally to regarding a lawsuit filed against the district by Alejandro Rojas. It's Alejandro Rojas versus El Rancho Unified School District, who is a former employee of the district. This lawsuit is all public information. I've been able to keep track of the lawsuit on the court website. So I'm not saying anything that's not already public. But I'm here because I'm concerned that at this point, that lawsuit is, from what the court records read, are in a settlement stage. And I'm concerned about a possible settlement to this man who clearly has a record of criminal conduct, not just at Bassett Unified School District, I can't speak for your district, but I have read his lawsuit, where he calls himself a whistleblower. He was indicted on 18 counts of misappropriation of public funds, theft of public funds, bribery, et cetera, at Bassett Unified. Bassett Unified School District did its own investigation. FICMAT, it's all on the internet. FICMAT released that report. There's also another report that was produced by an investigative firm that I want to put in the record here for you all to have a copy of. I'm concerned because during his 2 years at Central Basin, and unfortunately, we have bad politicians sometimes. I think it makes all of us look bad because there are good politicians. I serve on the board. I'm a former council member and mayor, and I'm an educator. And I respect my position. And I also respect the voters that elect me. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. He has a board majority at Central Basin that continues to allow him to funnel contracts to his friends through no bid contracts to overbill the district. And at this point, we have a law enforcement agency that's looking at that at Central Basin. You may have read about it in some of the news articles in the region. And so I urge you, and I urge the members of this community to monitor that settlement. That settlement is going to be public record for members of this community to look at. And I hope that the money is not he's not getting one dime. The children of our communities are the ones that deserve to get the funding from this community that our taxpayers actually pay through property taxes, et cetera. So I want to give that in this report to you. My phone number is 310-714-1202. I would be glad to meet with anyone who's interested in knowing more about what I've uncovered about this gentleman to help as you hopefully properly defend this lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez Wilson.
And so I'm gonna mess up the name here, but Anesa Renfrew? Nisa Renfrew.
Lisa Renfrew. I am the TK teacher at North Ranchito Elementary School, and I am here because my classroom has been out of compliance for 27 days. I have not had a 6-hour aid as mandated by the state. So what has this done to my class? It has made it an unsafe environment. I have a student who jumps off tables throughout the day. I have no support. So I do my homework. I was told he's a high energy student from the ISLP, which is the Intensive Speech and Language Program. So let me do my homework and I check, what is this program? I've heard of it. The student went for 75 minutes twice a week in a clinic setting with 6 to 8 students with 3 adults. They deemed because he showed some cognition, he should be placed in my room, who has 15 students and 1 adult, coming from the most restrictive environment you can have a student in to the very least restrictive. So that has been I go in my class in dear panic mode. And anybody who knows me, that is not me. That I have to go into this safe environment in fear for that student because I believe he's in the wrong place, in fear for my other students when he lands on somebody. You all need to know. And nothing's been done. I've sent out emails. I did not bring the paperwork I meant to hand out. This is going on daily. When I noticed its extreme behavior, August 30th, after 10 days of school, one of the teachers who had to cover my class said, oh, Ms. Renfrew, she wrote an ODR. The behavior tech the next day wrote an ODR. And from that day, since I have written ODRs twice, because that same student and another student elopes daily. So now that's impeding on my other students' lessons because I have no one in there. I have to stop my story, go to the door and see where those 2 students ran off to. Most of the time I can call them back, But what about the times I don't? And I have to wait. And my answer I get, Miss Renfrew, you didn't close your door all the way. That doesn't stop anybody. What kind of answer is that to elopement? Honestly, I am very concerned with that. So, but that's just that unsafe. And now I go in feeling I cannot provide the quality education. I get all my wonderful TK furniture. I set it up. I plan my class. This is what's going to happen. Well, no, I don't have my aid. I can't do it. Well, and now it's affecting my mental well-being and my physical well-being. I'm surprised I haven't ballooned up from binge eating or gotten to skinny because I can't eat. I have no appetite. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Renfro.
Next, we have Lee Squire.
Lee Squire, Vietnam era veteran, civil rights advocate for special needs children. I'm also an auditor and fraud examiner. I've been one for 31 years. I'm here on your case with Alex Rojas trying to plead that he was a whistleblower when in fact, I presented to Sandy and want another copy. This is the First Amendment complaint from Barbara Molina versus the Bass Unified School District, and she is a whistleblower. I've reached out to the attorney, and I've also told the attorney that I've supplied the same lawsuit to the LADA Public Integrity Division. I told him that I will do whatever I can. I will defend that whistleblower against Bassett. When you hired Rojas, you did not know that he had defrauded $1.8 million in conspiracy with Delterra of the 2014 bond proceeds. Also, this is the charging document, 18 counts collectively of bribery, extortion, money laundering, and perjury. I'm asking you to put in stay that settlement agreement until this lawsuit is settled. Number two, even if you're found not guilty in a criminal proceeding involving public engagement fraud, you may nonetheless be found guilty in a civil lawsuit called the preponderance of the evidence. I'm asking you to put that in stay. His criminal prosecution is ongoing and the next round is on October the 11th. I'm handing to you now, again, the Barbara Molina document. I'd ask your attorney to reach out to her. She was there during the Rojas fraud. I'm also going to hand you the 18 count indictment and charging document of the LADA's office. And this is from the LADA Public Integrity Division. Also, we just recently, I served as a expert subject matter witness on behalf of the Montebello Unified School District against the city of Bell. We prevailed, now we're in the damages phases. Again, if I can assist you in any manner, I'll consider it one way, but I am a fraud examiner and I have a proven record in the investigation and prosecution of public officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Squire.
And we have Monica Cook.
Good evening, board, superintendent, executive cabinet, staff, and most importantly, our students. I typically believe that our leaders truly have the best interests for our students. We may not agree how, but overall, I have believed that working in the education field, we all have the best intentions for our students. However, the actions of our leaders this year have compelled me to speak up. Let me walk you through a quick first 20 days of school. Our students walk in nervous, some anxious, worried, tears, excited, with a little reserve, uncertain of what the year will bring. Our teachers help our students familiarize themselves with the routines, expectations, and slowly our students' fears and worries begin to fade away. We go through 20 days of assessments, goal settings, and our students begin to trust us and believe in themselves. In my class, I had a student tell me, I don't read. And I said, boys and girls, by the end of first grade, I promise you, all of you will learn how to read. And every year, I confidently believe myself when I say that. Unfortunately, this year, not so much. And let me tell you why. 20 days into our school year, our leaders chose to displace 6 classes that I know of in just one school. 32 first graders in my classroom right now, not counting IEPs, 1 student that left campus. Behavior that we had are gone, our college aides gone. Our students that trusted in us, in our teachers, were moved. I wish you could see the tears of our displaced students that had trusted us and were so determined to try their very best for themselves and also for us. We let them down. And why? Because we could not fill 10 chairs. Our students are not numbers. I'm also a parent, and I received a letter on behalf of our district with statements stating, "This will be the best year ever. We are committed to academic achievement for all of our students." This letter is deceitful, and our community needs to be made aware. I am a parent, and I'm embarrassed. I'm a teacher, and I'm embarrassed. Our students are amazing, and we need to do better by them. The actions of our leaders do not match those stated in this letter. I ask that our leaders be transparent in their intentions, and I urge parents and our board members to advocate for our students. This is a huge disservice for our students that are counting on us. These are kindergarten and first graders that their first experience in school. And I have 32 kids in my classroom. We need your help. This cannot happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cook.
And we have Ms. Renfrew again, one more time.
I'm back. So, lack of staffing. Do not have my staffing I needed. Unsafe classroom. So when I was told, if you have a problem, come with some solutions, because I had to reach out to find out the status of my aid. Where is this aid I'm supposed to have? I talked to personnel office. It has now been 11 days since I've had any communication from that office on the status of this aid. Do we have one? Did they accept? Or do you have to start all over and I get to wait another 30 days? So I have some possible solutions. I know one roadblock to it is they need to have early ed credits. Well, I know we have partnerships with Rio Hondo. How difficult it is to arrange an online class that applicants can take so they can be qualified to be in our TK classes. That would be, and I even spoke with our aides on our campus, said, yes, Ms. Renfrew, if the district had arranged that for me, I would take those classes so I can be in your class. So there is one easy solution to this. Considering you knew I was out of an aide during the summer when my aide got placed in another position. Another idea I have, better use of our resources. You let go a lot of aides. Did you not pay attention to who needs one? And also our behavior techs. We have one that used to be at one school and now she comes to 3. So she comes in my room for 20 minutes, maybe 40 if I'm lucky, twice a week. That's real helpful. So look, Miss Renfrew, who's out of compliance for 27 days, maybe we could use her in her class because, if someone noticed the ODRs, she has students jumping from furniture, but I don't think anybody noticed that. And my last challenge to all of you sitting there, would anyone love to come and spend a day in my class with me? I would love to see that. I'm out of compliance. And not an hour and not 20 minutes and not 10 minutes before recess from 8:30 in the morning till 2 o'clock when I have to dismiss my last student. So I can implement the quality TK program I have been set up to implement, which I haven't been able to touch since the start of the year. I can't even finish a story without being interrupted and having to stop a child from unsafe behaviors. So I'm putting that challenge to all of you. Will I see any of you in my classroom in the next few days? And my fellow educators, I know for some of us, we are not public speakers. You need someone to voice for you. You come talk to me. I will come speak for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Renfrew.
That's all.
Dr. Villegas, I think it goes without saying, please follow up with each and every speaker. And if we could also have copies of the documents that were disseminated as well to the board.
Sure, we'll do.
At this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 12, information items. Presentation of the El Rancho Unified School District's 2022-2023 unaudited actuals to the Board of Education by Ms. Padilla. Ms. Padilla?
Good evening, President Mejia, Board of Trustees, Dr. Villegas, colleagues from Cabinet, community members, pleased to meet you. My name is Gioconda Padilla, and I am your Chief Business Officer. And I will be presenting our unaudited actuals. I'd like to start off by thanking and acknowledging Mrs. Lillian Huttenberg on the excellent job and the heavy lifting that she has performed with year-end closing and the unaudited actuals, as well as her budget analysts that have been supporting her. So, as you are aware, but I'll go through the exercise pretending that some people, because you don't listen to this often enough, regarding what are the unaudited actuals. Next slide, please. Oh, I get the ability to change? Okay. So the public, at this time, we have completed the year-end closing. We are required to provide a budget by July 1st. That was completed before my arrival. And now we're looking forward to 2 interim updates, one in December, another in March. The interim updates will provide a good opportunity to identify opportunities to improve our financials as well. In that context, I'm pleased to inform the public that we are moving forward with the budget committee. Thank you to the community who volunteered and are participating. We anticipate starting that in October. With the unaudited actuals, we will be presenting that to the to LACO, the Los Angeles County Office of Education. And from there, we will certify our financial condition. We will either have a positive, qualified, or negative. I'm here to inform that we will have a positive outcome with our unaudited actuals. Here's a timeline that you can visualize on how the financials are reported throughout the year. We're currently at the second step, which is the unaudited actuals. And then, as I mentioned before, then we will continue with the interim reports. The updated ending fund balances for the year end that we've closed is an important piece of information, because when the budget was presented in June for approval, then we had to go through the steps of closing the books. So the unaudited actuals are now adjusted. It includes important pieces of information that includes the categorical funding and statements of balances for all of our funds. It also includes important considerations as related to contributions for the restricted programs, such as federal special education, state special education, and restricted routine maintenance. These contributions are needed to provide the necessary support and services to operate these programs. Because pretty much the state and the federal governments do not give us enough funding for that. So LCFF, the local control funding formula, has been fully funded since 2000, fiscal year 2018, 2019. Before that, the districts had gaps in funding. We take into consideration in terms of the calculator, the enrollment, and as you well know, we continue to experience declining enrollment. There have been other increases in expenses such as STIRS and PERS. And then we've also had high facilities needs. We've basically gone from approximately $800,000 about 3 years ago before COVID to 2.5 million today. So there has been a significant increase. I mentioned the general fund contributions as well. So this statement here is the general fund revenue, and it outlines the different dollar amounts and the sources. So for example, the federal revenue of $488,000, that's related to a medical program that the district receives. The other state revenues are for lottery, mandated block grant, for unrestricted. Other local revenues are taxes, interest, and any other miscellaneous revenue, and the contributions that I've also already spoken to. With the restricted side, you'll see that there is a significant amount of money under restricted. That includes approximately 50 different sources of one-time monies that include Title 1, 2, 3, ESSER, A through G. So it's several programs. On the expenditure side, we have our salaries, which include, as of the unaudited actuals, the negotiated settlements, and the different operations that the district performs to maintain our schools running. The components of funding of the end fund balance consists of you start with the beginning balance, which on the unrestricted side was 14 million. Then we had audit adjustments that were related to we changed auditors, and there were some things that had not been previously done in the prior year. And there's also a new requirement for school districts called fair market value. It's basically calculating estimated asset value. So those adjustments had to be made. So it brings us to an adjusted fund beginning balance of 14.8 million. And after all of our expenses, there was 1.18 million in terms of the fund balance that was increased, bringing us to an ending fund balance on the unrestricted side of $16 million. So combined with restricted funding, you have the same exercise and the different dollar amounts for a combined total fund balance, ending fund balance of 49 million. So I like to go through a little bit of information here because I do believe in full transparency. And this will also be reviewed in our budget committee. So on the non-spendable side, for unrestricted, it's $55,000. That's for our warehouse inventory and revolving cash for emergencies. On the legally restricted, that's the middle column restricted, there's 33.5 million. Those are the one-time funds. Then we have 7.9 million on the unrestricted side for other commitments. These were a result of a board resolution to commit these funds a few years ago. And then we also have a 6.7 million, which is a board required 5% reserve that normally would be 3. In some districts, many districts have this 5% for restricted funding, for reserve for economic uncertainties. So we're looking forward to the work related to first interim. I believe that there are opportunities in our district to improve our processes and find levels of efficiency, including developing a systematic approach on how we're staffing and how we're projecting our salaries, and being able to provide information to our school principals in a timely manner what the following school year looks like. The same is true with the expenditures related to special education, so that we're able to project in advance how the money is being spent, what are the needs, and address them in a timely manner. So currently, the current actual expenditures that are reflected, that will be reflected for first interim will be for the period through October 31st. And then another piece of information that we need to ensure that we are prepared as well is any possible impact related to COVID, the triple endemic, such as RSV, flu. And so those, how are we going to be fully supplied and fully equipped? We have the scrubbers and the rooms. I hope everyone's using them. So those pieces. As previously mentioned, so this step right now is to request approval and fulfill the statutory requirement that the county would come back and certify our report as a positive certification. We will then proceed with any additional budget revisions, and then as well as start our discussions that's important in the context of our budget committee about enrollment and declining, how enrollment has been declining for our district, and then present to you in December first interim. Are there any questions?
Any questions, board members? Dr. Marino?
Ms. Padilla, thank you for this report. And to your staff, I know how much time you all put into it. Our budget looks very robust, which is always good news. I do have one question, and that's on the 22-23 components of ending fund balance. Other commitments of 7.9 million. You mentioned that it was a board resolution to commit these funds. Do you know how were these funds committed to what? And if you don't have the information right now, just forward it to the board.
So I will provide that in an update. Of course, I am interested as well in understanding how much, if what the breakdown is and what it's for.
Mhm.
So I will provide that information to you.
That's a sizable amount. We're talking almost 8 million, right?
Yes.
So certainly to see these were committed and what we have many needs here in the district, but yes, would appreciate that information to the board.
Correct. I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla. No really questions, just comments. I'm really happy to hear that the budget committee is gonna meet and that there's, it's gonna happen. We've been waiting for that for a long time, and it's very important that we have all of our educational partners represented. I know you mentioned the ESSER III funds and some of the restricted. We haven't had it updated in a while as far as how much is left, and I think it would be something good for the board to see where we're at with that, with the ESSER IIIs as well. And I really appreciated that you said that, that giving people information in a timely manner, it's very important. And I appreciate that you focus on what are the needs. I know that my fellow colleagues here recognize that we need to meet the needs of our students. So any information, as you mentioned, if it could be front loaded to our principals or teachers, it would be greatly appreciated, as echoed by the community that spoke today. Those were my
Thank you.
comments. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Padilla.
Okay.
At this time, we'll go on to item number 13. 13A, receive for first reading, revised board policy and administrative regulation 1240, volunteer assistance. Is there, well, actually, there's no motion because it's only discussion. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item 13, Board of Education announcements and acknowledgements. Ms. Perez, would you like to start?
Good evening, happy Hispanic Heritage Month. So I love that we dressed up and, we're honoring it. Just some updates. So I don't have the dates. I attended the LAXTA meeting and California Superintendent Tony Thurman talked about some really cool topics that I hope our team can take a look at. He's prioritizing this new financial literacy opportunity. They're definitely looking into AI. So I'm excited to see what the state level is going to bring. So I think financial education is so important for our students. And then the other thing, just going down my list, I want to congratulate the North Park teacher for LA County, and I will, mention it later. LA County Teacher of the Year. It's a huge accomplishment, especially all LA County, and it's here in this district. And then the last one, so we had a WASTA event, and a lot of people asked, what is WASTA? And honestly, we were still trying to figure that out this year. So it's the Whittier Association of School Trustees. And pretty much what we came up with, they hadn't met in a long time. And pretty much what we wanted was for superintendents, for school boards, for cities to talk to each other. I feel like sometimes we only talk to, to us. And so what we did was we did a networking event last Thursday. So I thank all my fellow board members, superintendent for attending. And at the event, we were able to network with other districts. We were able to network people in office. So I know we had some contacts. I definitely advocated for our Rancho High School. Sorry, that's what I forgot to mention. We had an our Rancho High School Facilities Committee meeting. Thank you for that. So I'm hoping that the next meeting will get more information as to what are the specific projects we want for the high school. But at the WASTA event, that's all I kept talking about. I kept bugging everybody. It was like, well, did you know our Rancho, we have a committee meeting. We need money. We need help. If you're interested. But it was really good networking event, and I know we'll mention it. Can I mention it? Or are we gonna? I don't know if we're after. Okay, mention it after. Okay. But it was just a really great opportunity for us to just work together. Two things that came out of it. I was talking to Oscar from Rio Hondo. Vallardes, thank you. He's gonna count me. Rio Hondo has, and this is for CA, Rio Hondo apparently is one of the 2 schools that offer a bachelor's degree in automotive technology. I had no idea. And so he said that they can bring Teslas to the school. They can really, make it a career event. If we need anything to let him know. I think it's something that, I'm sure some students have heard about, but I would love to bring them on campus. I know the college and career fair happened 2 weeks ago or last week. But I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to partner and see what other options they have. He also talked about, funding that were able to receive from local organizations, which I'm hoping to go after. So it was just I think it was a really great event to see what are other districts doing and what can we start doing or what can we continue doing and how can we share. And then we got featured in the Weirdo Daily News. So I think it's a great new start to really, hype it up. So that was all for my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pres. Mr. LaFarga?
Yes, good evening, everyone. First, I want to just acknowledge our speakers and raising your concerns to the board and to our district leadership. It's very clear that we need to do better. Communication and follow-up were the 2 words that resonated with me. So we will continue to work with our district leadership to ensure that whatever your needs and issues that need to be resolved, even if they're not resolved in a timely manner, that at least you're communicated with. And we need to get ahead of this from a planning standpoint. So thank you for sharing your voice at this meeting today. I also want to wish everyone a happy Hispanic Heritage Month and celebrate in your own way, recognizing or at least for me, my Mexican heritage. I also want to echo the congratulations to Mr. Ponciano as being named one of the Teachers of the Year in LA County, which is a great accomplishment. And I know he's part of the North Park community, so congratulations to the school as well. I also had a chance to attend the community book fair, which was a great time. I took one of my daughters, she took her books. It was nice to hear mariachi early in the morning as well. So that was really nice event. Attended college night with my 2 children as well that are at El Rancho, and very successful event and attendance. Special thanks to one of the teachers. I apologize, I don't have her name, but she put it all together, invited the board to the event. Very successful and motivating to see. I attended the WASTA event, which is great networking with our colleagues in the surrounding communities. And I also want to thank Mr. Goyanaga at El Rancho High School for a tour that he gave me, which really highlighted some of the needs that we need from a facility standpoint. So I'm glad we're starting to have all our conversations for priorities around addressing the needs of our facilities. But one stunning thing to me is that we're going to build a beautiful sports facility, and we have to do something with our school buildings to align with that project, so that when we do complete everything, that beautification of our facilities are in line with the sports complex. So I really want to see that happen, and just continue to encourage our sports teams to do well. I attended our homecoming game. Man, that was a nail biter. They almost pulled it off, but they really stepped up and responded to I think a deficit at the first quarter, and then came back. Oh man, I wish we had a 60-yard field goal kicker to win the game. But yes, continued success to all our sports teams. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. LaFarga. Dr. Marino?
I want to start by congratulating Mr. Edward Ponciano from North Park, be the Teacher of the Year, the LA County. So in my longevity here at the district, I believe is the first time that one of our teachers gets recognized at the LA County. All of you should be recognized because you're all great. And you know that. And we know that as well. So congratulations to Mr. Ponciano. I also would like to celebrate our Hispanic heritage. Although officially we've been celebrated since about 1968, according to the resolution. Let's always remember that we go way back centuries when Spain first colonized the Americas. So let's celebrate ourselves and the great contributions, because we definitely are past our ancestors. And today, everyone here is making a big difference and making this place a better world for all Hispanics and for all humanity. I want to close my comments by thanking everyone, all of you, for being here, sharing your concerns, and do want to tell you that we listen actively. We will continue to work with Dr. Villegas and Cabinet in finding solutions and addressing these concerns. Highly encouraged by knowing that if we are careful and all of us work together to safeguard this budget, we can allocate it to where it's needed the most. And where is that place? The classroom. Absolutely. So I certainly understand the frustration. I could feel it. I could sense it. I could hear it. So we will definitely work and do what we can to support and address all of those concerns and all those issues, because our kids deserve the best and our teachers and staff deserve the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marino. Trustee Contreras.
Thank you. First of all, I know Dr. Kimes is here. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Ponciano also for the great accomplishment as was stated. I also attended the WASTA meeting, and I know she didn't want to get kudos on it, but Ms. Perez was a very big part of the whole getting it together and making it happen. And I know that Supervisor Janice Hahn was very impressed of the event. So thank you very much, for your part in doing it, and also to Councilmember Lara, I believe, who was a very big part of getting it together. College Night was a great success again. There were many colleges, universities, and also the armed forces were there. Representing, passing out info and answering questions from our students and our parents. So thank you to everybody, the staff at El Rancho High School, and the administration that helped put that together. Also attended the meeting for the historic Whittier Boulevard project that's going on. And the project also includes a lot of our students. I would also like to recognize Miss Ali Mejia for being a big part of that project. She spoke out at the last city council meeting in favor of the student inclusion, to make sure that our students have a say in how the Whittier Boulevard project will look and affect our community moving forward. So I'd like to recognize Miss Ali Mejia and also the other students that are involved in that project. Thank you to our Rancho staff for another successful night of our weekly night pep rally, the homecoming event, the homecoming dance. I know many hours were put into that. As stated by one of our speakers, our teachers go above and beyond, many times put in a lot of hours that go unnoticed, unpaid. It's out of their heart that they want to see that these kids have a great year, have a great memories. I was able to attend the night pep rally, and it just took me back to our night pep rallies. As Lilia had stated before, back in the days, our pep rallies and how they were. So it was great to see that school spirit is still there, amidst all of the, trying to get past our COVID and getting the school started, and it, happening so close to the beginning of school. Our students, our staff, our administrators, they put together a great event. Also was able to attend the a football game, and as board member Lafarga stated, it was a great game. Unfortunately, we ended up on the downside of it. It was a tough loss, but the Rancho football team played well. They showed a lot of heart. I think if we had a little bit extra time, we would have come up on top. And I think that's all I have. Just the last thing, from the union members, the teachers here, the parents that are here, people that are out in the audience, we do hear you, and we are working, and it's not the first time we hear of this. It won't be the last, I know, and we are working very hard to make sure that we get these the items or the concerns that were brought up, that they do get taken care of, and they do get addressed properly and in a timely manner. So thank you very much for voicing. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Contreras. So along with the rest of my colleagues here, I just want to congratulate Mr. Ponciano on his Teacher of the Year recognition from LACO. And also, I just want to thank Dr. Kimes for hosting us today and for her wonderful students that were very professional, very articulate, and, leading us up to the front and showing us where all the bathroom was and closed session. Very, very nice. I want to recognize our boys, El Rancho High School boys water polo team. Mr. Fan, they're having a really good season. They're really strong right now. I also want to recognize the boys football team. Yes, it was a close game. I didn't get to attend, but it was a very, very close, but also for their active participation with our elementary students. These boys are being leaders. They're mentoring the younger students, and I think that's amazing. So thank you to Mr. Medrano. I also want to acknowledge the boys and girls cross country. They're doing phenomenal as well. They had a really strong showing at Woodbridge. We had kids that are running in the 15s and 15 minutes in the 3 mile, which is great. I want to acknowledge Mr. Perea and the STEAM Academy, the running club. These kids have been working hard all summer. They just ran at the 5K, the Homeboy Industries 5K this past weekend. And I need to acknowledge Miss Christine Saavedra and SA Recycling because they sponsored the fee for all of the students to be able to participate. That was their first 5K, so that's great. I just want to give kudos to ERFT for the Reading Opens the World. Let's continue that tradition. I totally agree with Ms. Carrion. We need to make this an annual event, and we need to, as a district, see how we can participate to fund it along. I want to acknowledge the student groups that were there from the high school. You had tennis participated, and also the Lions Club were there. I'm sure that there was others, but I just want to make sure I acknowledge them because I worked some of the tables with them. As Trustee Perez stated, LACSA did have their first meeting, and I was happy that our board members attended. We had a guest speaker on Tony Thurman, and it's like Trustee Perez stated that early childhood. They gave us resources for early childhood. I know that came up at the podium. There's pathways there, there's resources there, and we need to help our pipeline of future educators, and we will share that information with Dr. Villegas. I attended the Rio Hondo College 60th year celebration. It was a very nice event, beautiful dancers, just a joy to be able to participate in that. I also attended the Art Robles DRD plaque dedication. Art Robles is a champion for water education. And if you've ever have a chance, please visit on San Gabriel Boulevard. It's a beautiful platinum LEED facility. And what I appreciate about him is that he advocated for it to be an education center. So teachers, there's free field trips for that as well. And I just want to plug in and thank the communication team for highlighting the art contest for WRD. And lastly, I did attend the NALEO, the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials Conference in Dallas. This was at no cost to the district. I was awarded a scholarship to attend, and it was on emergency preparedness. There's a lot of information that I received, and I have a laundry list of questions for Dr. Villegas, and I just wanted to share that I did get my certificate for the incident command system for senior officials. So that was that. Thank you. Thank you. Lastly, we're celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Month, and I just wanted to share a little fun fact. Did you know most likely the device you're reading this on has a color display? Pretend you're looking at your television or your monitor. You can thank Guillermo Camarena for that. At 17, he invented and patented his chromoscopic adapter for television equipment, which in use would adapt black and white TVs to color. Later, he sent his first color transmission from his lab in Mexico City on August 31st, 1946. The first publicly announced color broadcast in Mexico was overseen by him, airing on February 8th, 1963. So I just wanted to share that fun fact because we should be proud of our heritage and acknowledge accomplishments of Hispanics and Latinos. Lastly, I just wanted to say that we hear you and we will do better. We thank you for coming to the podium today. And actually, I'm sorry, one more thing. Yes, we need to acknowledge Ms. Perez for the WASTA mixer. It was a really well attended event. I just wanted to share the check with you. I wanted her to have the honor I just want to, you can do it. You can do it. No, well, we could all do it. Yeah. We could all do it. So we did make a lot of great connections with, as she mentioned, there was elected officials there, state officials. So Lisa Calderon's office offered to give us free transportation for our students to attend her college and career fair, which is coming up in 2 weeks. Janice Hahn's office, who gave us this check, also offered to provide transportation for the Girls Empowerment Conference. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to happen this year or not, but I mean, there's so many resources, and it happens if we're able to connect, right? Which is great. And also we connected with Superintendent Tony Thurman's staffer as well. He wasn't at this meeting, at this physical meeting. He was at our Laxton meeting, but great connections, a lot of resources. We're going to continue to advocate hard for our district and, to help our students. With that, I know Dr. Marino wasn't able to take a picture with the check, so it'd be nice if the governance team and along with the cabinet can take a picture with it.
Yes.
Oh, oh, here we go. Janice Hahn on September 21st, 2023. To the El Rancho Unified School District, $20,000 to combat student homelessness. Ta-da, here's the big check. And as I mentioned, Dr. Marino wasn't able to attend that event, but I would like the cabinet and yes. And I know I went over the 3 minutes, sorry.
Let me look here. Is it? Get us on here. You should just.
I can kneel in the front.
I'll be on the side.
You want to sit down?
Oh, probably. Yeah, over here. The time I move it. Or do we all sit?
We just have to go sideways.
We move sideways.
What sideways?
Row in the back. We don't want, can I?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, please.
I don't want them.
Okay, I don't want to block. I'll just block.
You're good.
Oh, it's more of a workout.
That bottle? Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 15, comments and reports by superintendent and cabinet.
Thank you very much. So today I'm going to start and do some, and then we're going to pass it over to Jaconda, who will share some updates on the facilities and how we're doing with those construction projects that are impending. And so, as been said, lots of great events happening right now in the fall. I would be I need to speak about the pep rally, because I'll tell you what an event that is. And you see that spirit with the students and the energy that comes, and really the love of this community and district is really embodies in that event. So I was very grateful to be able to attend it. I attended last year, but this year I know there was even just a touch more energy than I remember. Again, homecoming game was it was a great game. It shows a lot of heart of our students really doing a wonderful thing. I wanted to just share we're having our first coffee with the superintendent, and so that's going to be being promoted. It's going to be on October 12th at 9 a.m. at Elena Ochoa, and so hopefully we get a chance to gather folks, and it's going to be an opportunity for us to share where we are as a district and just some of the metrics of what we're doing in our areas of focus, hopefully, and some opportunities for input as well. Student advisory is also going to start this fall at the high school. I know there's applications being collected right now, and the advisory is being built. And so that's up and coming. We're also starting the early stages of the Junior Chamber of Commerce. And so we've had some conversations with the Chamber of Commerce, and so we're looking at starting some small level of a junior chamber, which will certainly involve some of the financial literacy pieces as well. So we're looking at building that. I did get a chance to spend some time with Mr. Ponciano and his lovely wife and during the event at the county. And yes, it was really wonderful to have El Rancho represented in there with one of our finest. But like you said, all of our teachers are really deserving of that recognition. And so again, the college night also was just fabulous. Really, there was a lot of colleges represented, a lot of parents that attended, and a lot of really positive energy in the room. So I'm really glad to have participated in that. And facilities, we've got a lot of different things happening related to facilities. So I'm going to ask Ms. Padilla to share with us some of those updates.
Can you hear me? Okay. So yes, I'm very pleased to report that tomorrow, board meeting, I'm thinking Tuesday. Tomorrow in the newspaper, we will finally have the project for the pool in the stadium. So that's a great thing because we finally jumped through all the hurdles related to DSA. So tomorrow that will happen. That's a process. We're looking at having contractors pre-qualified. We want to get the best contractors. We have a PLA in place. There's procedures. So then in November, we'll finally have a bid opening that will lead to potentially a December board approval, the award of the contract. And that will be a wonderful day because we've been waiting for so long. And I'm very proud to be here. My first week, I attended the groundbreaking. So now we'll come to full circle. Additionally, I've been listening to concerns, discussing with Dr. Villegas and cabinet and our site administrators, as well as our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee related to our facilities and updating the needs. So that we're bringing it back to full. This is a railroad, okay? We're on a train, we're full steam ahead, and we are validating the data of a previous attempt to identify those needs. We want to make sure that the architect has accurate information. So we're going back to the principals to make sure that that is indeed accurate. We're also verifying the NPR information. And I believe Ms. Prado is here. So thank you for your questions. And so we are validating those designs as well. So we anticipate this is a process, but we're going to move very quickly. And we anticipate by approximately the spring to have an understanding of how much all of this will cost. So that's one update. And then we're also working on developing a budget to to repair the air conditioning issues at the high school, as well as the kitchens. So we're working on that as well. And we're making progress. So we'll have updates coming in the near future. Did I miss anything?
There's certainly a lot of different projects that are impending, and I think what we'd like to do in the near future is share a presentation of just some of the updates of where we are and kind of share it with the community as well, so we are able to speak openly about just the various aspects of that. But exciting times, and what the first part of the statement really means that we're on schedule, essentially. We're on schedule to meet the guidelines that we were moving forward. So that's the good news of that whole thing of going out to bid and that whole piece, because that means we're still on schedule. So that's good news.
Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item 16, consent agenda. Board members, are there any items that you wish to pull for discussion?
Just one.
What's that?
16.D.4.
16D as in boy?
D as in
D4? 16D4. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, less the item 16D4?
So move.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by trustee Contreras. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 16D4, is there a motion?
I move.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by trustee Perez. Discussion, Dr. Marino.
I'm just would like some clarification on the Title I funds. Are the Title I funds allocated to each school a specific amount? Or are they in the general fund and become available as the school has a need for it?
I'm sorry, did you say 16?
D.
D4?
David.
Did I say-
D4,
did I get it right?
D4 is the library.
D4 is the library.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, perfect.
It is, because it's funded out of Title I.
Yes.
So the reason it's funded out of Title I,
Okay, I'm sorry. Does each school get an allotment? I know each school gets an allotment for Title I funds, right? But as I understand it here in the question that I submitted, that this Title I is being used out of general funds. So I'm not clear, because I know that each school receives Title I funding based on enrollment, et cetera, students that fall under that category. So this, I believe it's 500 million. I don't have it in front of me. $500,000 out of Title I from the general fund. So that's
not what it says on the document. It's just Title I. Title I fund.
from Title I funds, but I submitted a question on that. And the response is wait.
Can you
I
repeat
just-
the question for Dr. Villegas, because
Okay. The question is the Title I funding that is being allocated for $500,000 for the furniture at the high school. That's from the funding that was allocated initially to the high school, or is it held in reserve under general fund?
So it's my understanding that it was specific to the high school in terms of a strategy to be able to retain students and improve student outcomes related to learning and their educational environment. So I hope that answers your question.
it should be site funds,
So
Title I site.
correct.
Was that your?
Well, okay, so I'm reading through the response.
No. Site.
And I
funds.
understand that this furniture is needed. That's not a question here. And that it is intended to improve student outcomes. I would like to know how specifically, and I don't need a response right now, but how is this furniture going to improve student outcomes? In addition to that, and I understand that it creates the learning environment, but we need to get beyond the physical aspect. What specifically, how will students specifically be benefit and will yield the desired educational outcomes for students?
So I will work with Mrs. Chavez on an update unless you want to provide.
Oh, sure.
The library space. One of the things that we're really promoting with is literacy. So the space, the lighting, everything in Rancho at the library, we can upgrade it in addition to the literacy aspect for the kids to feel more connected, to come in, to continue that level of reading that we had this weekend, that we really been trying to promote across the district. The other part of it is a collaboration space that we want to create within there so students can feel comfortable coming, working collaboratively. a lot of the things, I know initially it might seem it's just furniture. It's not just that aspect. It's really creating a better place for the kids to learn, to feel connected, to come after school. Some of our students don't have places where they can, meet as a group at home. So it's creating that piece. And the question about the SIPSA, these were it was District Title I that we're funding these out of. That's why it wasn't initially in the SIPSA. So El Rancho doesn't receive 500,000. Rancho High School does not receive 500,000. Title I, their allotment is about 100. So at the end of the year, we did have some District Title I funds. And if you recall from the ESSER 3 plan that was part of the initial plan, is creating those community learning hubs for our students. We weren't able to do that with ESSER 3. We had some funds at the end of the year, and we thought this would be a great way to make sure that our students are getting what they need in terms of promoting collaboration, literacy, and all other aspects.
Thank you for the clarification. I would just like to make a recommendation, if I may, that if Title I funds can be used to enhance the learning environment, that we look at other schools that also need that enhancement in their libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to add, if you have a chance to visit El Rancho High School's library, oh my goodness, Ms. Metaxas does a great job keeping students engaged. I think, and I know that you're not questioning the funds. I know that it's needed and you're advocating for equity, which I respect. So the students go there at lunch. They go during lunch and they have tickets that they can use in the morning to be there in the morning as well. So it's used. And it's wonderful because it's promoting literacy and promoting, like you meant, like Ms. Chavez said, connections with other students, and it's great. It's a haven for them. So if you think about the wellness center, we have the oasis. Guess what? The library is another oasis as well.
It is. And I just wanted to add one more thing. The furniture in the library will also be able to use by parents as a resource center for after school meetings, for them to have access when there needs to be a space for them to meet. Sometimes we need a larger room, so they will also be able to have access to that room as well. But in addition, our elementary schools are getting new monitors for their innovation lab so that they are being updated, as well as our secondary schools. So we're trying to look at the needs of the different sites, and I wish we could accommodate each and every single one, but we are working together with our administrators to see if the district could support certain purchases, or we could see how we can help them develop the SIPSA so that they can get the materials that they need. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. With that, we'll move on to item 17A2, adopt resolution number 11, 2023-2024 in recognition of National Hispanic Heritage Month. Dr. Villegas? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by trustee Contreras, seconded by trustee Perez. Dr. Villegas.
It has been said over and over today, this month is such a special month where we have the opportunity to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. So, we're really proud to be able to have this resolution. And it was my understanding that one board members was going to read that one. Is that not the case? No.
Do you have your monitor up?
Yeah, and so, again, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to really have a special recognition of this day. And it's not really just Mexico, but it's all of Latin America that celebrates these days. So I know we have a lot of people here from different parts of Latin America. And so we're able to recognize the heritage of Hispanic heritage for all different types of Hispanics.
Okay. El Rancho Unified School District Resolution number 11-2023/2024 in recognition of National Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Week, which began in 1968 under President Lyndon Johnson, was expanded to National Hispanic Heritage Month by President Ronald Reagan and enacted into law in 1988 to cover the 30-day period starting on September 15th, the day which represents the anniversary of independence for 5 Latin American countries. And whereas during this time, America celebrates the culture and traditions of the United States residents who trace their roots to Spain, Mexico, and Spanish-speaking nations in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. And whereas the founding origins of the County of Los Angeles are Latino, and we take this opportunity to recognize the contributions of Latino Americans for helping shape our national character and strengthen our communities for a better tomorrow. And whereas a history, social science framework for California Public Schools states that the history curriculum of community, state, region, nation, and world must reflect the experiences of men and women to the different racial, religious, and ethnic groups, which is integrated at every grade level. And whereas the Board of Education recognizes that each student needs an opportunity to understand the common humanity underlying all people. And whereas the Hispanic student population of Rancho Unified School District is 97.3%. And whereas the El Rancho Unified School District family is encouraged to become enriched by the contributions and achievements of the many cultures that foster the pride of the Latino community. And whereas understanding tolerance and acceptance of the diverse populations living in our communities should be part of a full understanding of our shared history and culture. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th, 2023 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the honor of the diverse cultures that comprise the Latino communities of the greater Los Angeles area, and specifically the El Rancho Unified School District. Be it further resolved that the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education does hereby encourage faculty during this month to integrate and share the contributions of Latinos with their students via their curriculum to further enlighten the students to be well-informed individuals. Adopted by the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education in Pico Rivera, California, by resolution number 11-2023/2024 on this 19th day of September, which is 25th day. Was it 19th or 25th, right? On this 25th day of September 2023.
Yay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 17A3, adopt resolution number 12-2023-2024, declaring that board member Dr. Teresa Marino was absent from the September 5th, 2023 regular board meeting in accordance with Ed Code 35120. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by trustee LaFarga, seconded by trustee Perez. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Trustee LaFarga,
Yes.
trustee Perez,
Yes.
trustee Contreras.
Yes.
Trustee Dr. Marino. Abstain. Mejia votes yes, motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. Okay, item number 17. B1, adopt resolution 13-2023-2024 in support of national If You See Something, Say Something. Dr. Villegas.
Yes, so we're really proud to bring this back as one of the things that we started last year here in our district was to see something. And it was really a wonderful campaign because we were able to find out a lot of things that were happening in our districts, and we were able to identify problems before they happened. And if you recall, we started with a video. So we actually have a couple of short little videos that we want to share, just because we're doing one from this year and then revitalizing the one that we used last year. And then we're going to have the resolution ready.
Fancy.
Read as students of the El Rancho. Read as students of the El Rancho Unified School District. Want everybody to know that we want to learn in a safe environment.
We want to go to school.
To discover something new.
To create. To design.
To make new friends.
That's where you come in.
If you see something on our school campus that seems strange or unsafe,
Please tell a trusted adult immediately.
if you hear any rumors or threats,
or see any inappropriate posts on social media,
We need you to come forward. We need everyone
To help keep our schools safe.
please think before you post.
think before you speak.
Think before you make wrong choices.
Safety is something we should never play around with. Be kind.
Be respectful to everyone you meet. School is for learning. School is about having fun.
School is not a place for violence.
We need everyone. We need you. You.
Join the movement.
Join the movement.
Hear something.
See something.
Say something.
Don't take chances.
Do not be a bystander.
Do not be afraid to come forward.
Do not be afraid to come forward.
Do not wait.
There are plenty of ways to report something unsafe.
Tell your teacher.
Tell an administrator. Tell a trusted adult.
Tell your parents.
Please say something.
Please say something.
We need everyone to work together. Inbox us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Report it on Text-a-Tip.
Hear something. Say something.
Then say something.
Hear something.
See something.
Say something.
There one more video?
Yeah, there was one more video. Hello, I'm your superintendent, Dr. Marco Villegas. September 25th is National If You See Something, Say Something Awareness Day. Too often we hear that someone knew of a threat beforehand and never reported it. We have a chance to make a difference to ensure that our friends, family, teachers, and schools remain safe. Reporting is simple. So remember, if you see something, say something by reporting suspicious activity to a teacher, a coach, your parents, local authorities, or text a tip at 844-405-2474. Make the right call for everyone's safety.
Why? Because we care. We care about our friends, our family, our community. When something doesn't seem right and it feels out of place, we have to do our part to help make things right. So if you see something, why do you say something?
We see safe for our community.
I see safe for their future.
I see safe for my friends.
Remember, if you see something, say something. You can text a tip at 844-405-2474.
If you see something suspicious, make the right call. Tell an adult, a teacher, a coach, or your parents.
Hi, El Rancho family, friends, teachers, students. My name is Captain Jody Hutek of the Pico Rivera Sheriff Station. If you see something suspicious, say something.
If you see something suspicious, say something.
If you see something, hear something, say something.
Attention El Rancho community. Hello, I'm Albert Carrillo, Chief of Police for the El Rancho Unified School District. Program this important text-a-tip phone number into your contacts, 844-405-2474. Remember, if you see something, say something. Together we can create a safer and more secure community for everyone.
If you see something, say something.
Yay.
I'd first like to thank IT and the communications team for doing another amazing job with the video. And it really is catching on. The kids know, as we're doing our assemblies at the schools this month, they know what to report. They know what to look for and they know why they're doing it. So they know if they see something, they're going to say something. And with that, I'll read the resolution. Whereas our community's security is a shared responsibility and every citizen plays a critical role in identifying and reporting suspicious activities and threats. In July 2010, the Department of Homeland Security launched the If You See Something, Say Something public awareness campaign nationwide. And whereas the If You See Something, Say Something was originally developed by the New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority in 2002, following the September 11th, 2001 attacks. And whereas If You See Something, Say Something is a simple and effective program to engage the public and key frontline employees to identify and report indicators of terrorism and terrorism-related crime to transportation and law enforcement authorities. And whereas the If You See Something, Say Something campaign will complement the El Rancho Unified School District safety programs such as Text-a-Tip, gaggle, and reporting to a trusted adult in the efforts to protect the students, staff, and community from harm. And whereas students, staff, parents, and community members should report any suspicious behavior in situations, for example, an unattended backpack in a public place, someone trying to break into a restricted area, fights, truancy, trespassing, graffiti, bullying, social media posts, drug use, and mental health concerns such as suicidal and homicidal ideation or other criminal activity. Now therefore be it resolved that the governing board of the El Rancho Unified School District do hereby declare September 25th through the 29th, 2023 as If You See Something, Say Something Public Awareness Week. And furthermore encourages its members to advocate and support the If You See Something, Say Something Public Awareness Campaign, adopted by the El Rancho Unified School District Governing Board of Education in Pico Rivera, California by resolution number 13-2023-24 on this 19th day of September, 2023. Wait, is today the 19th? No. 25th. 25th day of September. Sorry. So there's an edit there. Thank you.
Is there a motion and a second?
Second.
Moved by trustee LaFarga, seconded by Dr. Marino. Is there any discussion?
Just once, I know I had made a comment at the beginning of when I first came in, as far as the numbers, that text-to-tip number I know is very hard. I don't know if it says something or not, but I know it's very hard to, memorize or know. But I know I had asked for a board to be put up, where I had seen at another school visiting during a chair conference, where it was just a 4x8 board and it had the text-to-tip to see something, the 911, the suicide awareness, and there was all the numbers up there out in the quad area so that everybody could see, every kid can see where they can just turn and the numbers are there. It's not just say, I'll do it later when I get the number. It's there, it's available, it's physical. You can see it, you can touch it. It had the barcode that you can scan or the whatever the QR code that you can scan. So I know it's something I'd asked for, and if you can please, just as a follow-up, we can do something like that. And then to the extent of, getting those numbers out to the inside of the classrooms as well, and a smaller level, obviously. But that's all I have to say about that. So thank you for the presentation. It was very good. I saw a couple of kids that I saw in there. I think my son was still in there. One of them, he had straight hair, and now miraculously he has curly hair. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, that's all I got.
I just want to add to piggyback on what trustee Contreras said. Yes, the poster idea is great, and I'm hoping that we're also using our marquees. If that could be added to all the school marquees. In addition to that, also sharing, because I know that the city's really good at reposting anything that we have, but they have that beautiful marquee, the one that's like so high. If we could maybe share the campaign with them, I think it'd be great, because it just promotes more awareness, and they're a pretty good partner. So I think that they would accommodate that. With that, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item number 17C1, adopt resolution number 14, 2023-2024, GAN appropriation limits. Do I hear a motion and a second? Okay. Moved by trustee LaFarga, seconded by trustee Perez. Do we need to read out the resolution or would you like to say anything about it? Just procedural, correct?
No, thank you. We don't need to read it out. This is procedural. That goes along with the unaudited actuals.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 17D. 1. Amend declaration of need in the event there are insufficient number of fully credentialed persons to meet the employment criteria for the 2023-2024 school year. Is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, moved by trustee Perez, seconded by Dr. Marino. Discussion.
Is it possible to get information similar to the teacher that came to talk about like how can we remove any blockage for any teachers that she mentioned the online idea, right, like for early ed, and I know it's not related, but just if we can look into, because I just see like there's so many, why, my question is why are they not credentialized? Is there something that we can do as a district to move that forward? That would be it, just that comment.
Thank you. Any further comments or?
Just a question. A non-credentialed teacher, how long can the teacher stay in the classroom and still be in compliance?
Well, right now, there's been an extension. It was for the 30 days and it's now at the 60 days. There was an extension for that just very recently. And so we can have a non-credentialed teacher be in a classroom. And in most cases, it's a substitute teacher that maybe doesn't have full credential. They're currently been extended to 60 days.
Does that violate the Williams?
I think in this case, because there's been a certain exemption that has been provided for this that supersedes anything else. So that we are in compliance if we're able to, as long as we're within the 60 days at this point. And that's something very new. I think it's within the last 2 weeks.
Thank you.
I'm ready to vote. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we'll go ahead. We'll go on to item number 18, recommendations for future agenda items. Do we have any recommendations? Ms. Perez.
Just curious, like informational. So I went to Southern Fresno, they had a fair for the chamber. And so all the, kind of think of like oh my gosh, what we have in Central Park every Wednesday.
Street fest? Oh, no, the market.
The farmer's market, right? But what they had was, oh my God, my mic's on. What they had, sorry, they have a farmer's market for, vendors, but what they had, the chamber, they partnered with the school district to do a fair for students. And so there was about 15 students that were highlighting their business. So just informational if maybe we've done that, any type of partnerships with the chamber in the past, or if they're willing. I know some of you sit on the chamber if you're, if they're willing to. I think it was a really great idea. They teach them entrepreneurship, they teach them math. So just, if we can just get some information on that, that'd be, oh, sorry. Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you.
So information item on possible partnership with the chamber for an event.
Yeah, where the students can learn business, right? And just highlight their product.
That kind of sounds like the youth ambassadors that they're working on right now.
Oh,
but this is, but we will go ahead and reaffirm and validate it by that, by that item. Anything else? Anyone else? Was that?
Piggyback off of that, since you're talking about the youth ambassadors, October 7th is going to be the first lab for the historic Whittier Boulevard project. And it's going to be right on the corner of Whittier Boulevard and across the street from Taco Martha's. El Atacor. Right across on the other corner of El Atacor where the old pharmacy used to be. Right there. That's going to be the first one. It's going to be from 9 o'clock to 11. So we can go. I mean, obviously, community members and show our support for our students that will be there as well. This is the whole idea behind this involving our students is to get them, number one, to give their input of what our future Whittier Boulevard, historic Whittier Boulevard could look like. but then also give them the insight and the imagination to want to go, obviously to study at a higher level and to in turn come back and be part of that whole construction. We're thinking about 10, 20, 30 years from now. So we're encouraging them to, be part of from day one all the way to the final project. It's a huge project, and the city, in conjunction with the district, is investing a lot of time and money and effort to get the Whittier Boulevard project up and running, obviously, so that we can better our community, in turn, bring more residents, in turn, get more, students involved as well. So that's all I have.
Okay, I will second your motion to share the information on the October 7th event for the historic Whittier Boulevard Innovation Lab Day. You got it all. Anything else? Okay, quite a personal privilege. I don't have a cake, but we would like to wish Dr. Marino a very happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, and also Miss Jasmine Chavez Diaz. Happy birthday. Yay. We owe you a cake. You get Porto's next meeting.
Do I get Porto?
Yes, yes, you do. Okay, with that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:36?
I move.
Dr. Marino?
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Marino, seconded by Trustee Perez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, everyone that stayed for the entire meeting, and thank you for your patience and your participation and your civic engagement.